Hi everyone, I'm your instructor Erin O'Keefe. I am recording this video today to get you started on Module 1 if you haven't already looked through the class. I will be posting a video probably every other week just to get you started on the modules, kind of show you around a little bit. I'll give you some tips and talk a little bit about some of the more difficult assignments, and so the videos will just kind of walk you through step by step, give you some ideas on how to work through some of the stuff in this class. So I really encourage you to watch these videos. Of course, it's important that you get the information that I'm about to provide for you, and of course any tips and other things about your writing that will help you out. So I'm just going to take you through the class if you haven't already looked at looked through these modules here. Obviously the first page being the announcements. Please make sure that you do pick up your textbook. We have one textbook for the class. It's really small, but it gives us some information about the three genres that we'll be writing, and also gives plenty of examples. So it's important that you get your book. You will need it for this class, so don't delay in picking that up. Obviously there are a couple other things here, and then making sure that you complete that email assignment. I've gotten quite a few emails from students already, so just log into your email and respond to that for an easy 5-point assignment. So assignments over here on the side, a little bit more information about learning modules. This class is set up in learning modules rather than folders. Some students like them, some students don't like them, and it's entirely preference, I think. So learning module is different from a folder in that when you click on it, you should get a table of contents. So theoretically it's easier to go through because you can just click on the thing that you want to look at. The difficulty, of course, is when it's not in a list and you're not scrolling down through everything. Sometimes you can forget where you're supposed to go. So you just click down through here. Of course, the to-do list will tell you everything that you're looking at. And it's also a little bit harder to distinguish assignments when you're just looking at the table of contents. So for this module, we're working on a couple of things. You'll always have a journal link. And basically what's going to happen is the first 4 modules will link to Journal 1, and the last 4 modules will link to Journal 2, just so that you get a journal grade in the middle of the semester and then one at the end. So I'm not having to grade all of them at the end, but also so that you have some work that's actually graded. Now the journals are solely for your own writing. I don't really care what you write about, I just want you to write. And so it's for exploring ideas and for practicing and whatever else you want to put in there. It's not a diary. I don't want an accounting of your day unless it was a particularly good day that may inspire some creative things. And I also just don't want like essays that you're writing and like exact copies of the assignments and things. This is intended for you to have a safe space to practice. No one looks at the journal except for me. I don't really read through all of the entries. I just look to see that you're writing, and look for interesting ideas that I think you can pursue. But if you're writing about stuff that is kind of personal to you, or stories that you may be more uncomfortable sharing with other students in the class, that's completely fine with me. You're not going to shock me with what you write. So that's the journal. Obviously there's a welcome email assignment, which a lot of you have done already. Discussion board post, introduction discussion board is two paragraphs, your current view and your ideal view, and I do have a sample post in there so you can look and see what my paragraphs look like. And then the last thing that you're going to work on is actually a creative nonfiction piece. So we'll start with short stories in the next module, but creative nonfiction is very similar, and so there's a whole chapter on it in your textbook, and you're welcome to look through that. But the creative nonfiction piece is more personal. So short story fiction writing is typically, I mean, there may be some autobiographical elements to it, but it's typically something that's created in your imagination. Whereas creative nonfiction is entirely personal. So if you wrote like a narrative essay in a Comp 1 class, this is a similar idea here. So you're taking a photograph and you are writing the story behind the photograph. So this is the first really big graded assignment that you'll be submitting. submitting. And so you can see when you click on that, it of course gives you the requirements. Make sure that you double check the criteria, and then you scroll down here and browse your computer and upload a file, and then hit submit. Don't hit the right submission button, and don't put it in this comments box. You're actually attaching a file to this assignment, and that's important. Otherwise I don't have all the tools to grade it. A couple of things about submitting assignments: make sure you submit either in a PDF form or a Word document form. Any other file type I either can't open at all, or I can't grade it properly. It won't have any inline comments. All I can use is the rubric. So if you actually want me to grade and leave you feedback, you have to upload in a file format that I can use. So keep that in mind. The other thing I do want to mention is that I grade all of your work based on the posted criteria, not necessarily it's not like whether or not I like you, or whether or not I think that you're a great writer or that you're creative. It's based on the criteria. I have to have a standard to grade everyone's work by. And so that's really important when you're doing creative work. I'm not judging you as a person. I have to grade your work based on the posted criteria. That's just how it works. And so if you might have the best written photo essay, but if it doesn't meet the posted criteria, then you're not going to get a very good grade. So kind of keep that in mind. The journal is the area where you can just explore whatever you want, however you want to write creatively. The assignments, though, those are the ones that are being graded for specific skills that I think you need to learn when you are taking a creative writing class. And so if you're not demonstrating those skills, then your grade won't be very high, even if it's a really good story. If it doesn't follow the criteria, it's not going to get that great of a grade. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know some students like having some restriction to help them with writing, and some students would prefer to just do whatever they want. And that's not what the purpose of this class. If you just want to write whatever you want to, it's not something you would do in a college class. You can do that on your own. So that's kind of just some thoughts here as we start. I love creative writing. That was part of my major as an undergraduate, and I love teaching this class. I was a fiction writer mostly, and so poetry is something that I got into after I started teaching. So I've got lots of great ideas for you. If you need me to look over anything, feel free to send me an email. If you want my opinions about things before you submit them, it is not cheating to send me a draft of something to ask whether or not you're doing it correctly. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, I look forward to reading what you write, and I'll be posting regular announcements. Some will be videos and some will be text. So please keep an eye out for everything that happens in this class. I am looking forward to seeing what you guys come